This is Hedorah from Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. If you're wondering about the strange colors, I think it's based on more of a vintage design. This version, however, was released in 2024 as part of Super7's ReAction line. And even when they're not clear green, these figures are kind of a throwback to the days of simpler designs. This is actually my first foray into Super7's offerings. And you know what? Color me impressed. I think I finally understand the appeal. Which is both a good thing and a bad thing. Good because I'm probably going to buy a lot more of them, and also bad for that same reason. The mold here is very simplistic, and that makes sense given the scale. There's really not a ton of detail, but that's also in part due to the monster itself. Hedorah's kind of a mess, and that makes sense because it's made from pollution. There's just tons of flaps and bulges with no real rhyme or reason. But that's also what makes it so iconic. I love how his hands have these dangling appendages that almost resemble fingers. And even his feet and tail look like they're melting into the ground. He's got protruding tumor-like masses coming from his back and atop his head. The only parts of the design that aren't just flaps and dangling bits are his eyes. But I will say, not adding any kind of pupils is a bit of a miss. Even if they were just painted on, I think it would have added a lot to the overall look of this toy. Nonetheless, I'm a real sucker for anything translucent. Depending on how you feel, your opinions may vary. The lime green gives it kind of a radioactive look, and the extra splashes of red add a bit of a morbid bloodiness to it. This one would make a great Christmas decoration just given the color palette, and for purposes of display, if you can set up next to a light, whether natural or artificial, it's gonna look pretty good on the shelf. As with most of these ReAction figures, the articulation is very basic. The arms move, as well as the legs, as you might expect, but credit where it's due, they went the extra mile here, also allowing you to rotate Hedorah's tail. Now this is marketed as a smaller figure, ideal for collectors with limited shelf space, but even knowing this, I was kind of surprised when I finally got it out of the packaging. Hedorah stands just shy of 4.5 inches tall, and just about 2.5 inches from the tip of its toe to the end of its tail. These dimensions don't fully line up with the popular Bandai Movie Monster series, but it's a lot closer than I would have thought. Anyway, if you're a fan of this line and or translucent toys, this is a must-own. For anyone else who's a serious collector, you can maybe skip it if you have a better Hedorah already, but at least at the time of this recording, there aren't a ton of figures of this character available, especially not in its initial 70s design. Hopefully that changes in time, but for now it means this figure at least warrants some consideration. So what do you think? Are you a fan of the Super7 ReAction line? What are some of their best releases, and how does this one stack up against them? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.